He's been a visiting associate scientist at the University of Florida, USA, an associate research scientist at Arizona State University, USA. I'm going to give you some research highlights of Dr. K. Murali. He is oscillator. And he has got the first experimental demonstration of chaos-based logic, first experimental construction of chaos-based morphing logic gates, the discovery of logical stochastic resonance, and he takes credit for the first experimental demonstration of logical stochastic resonance. Thank you very much, sir. Now I hand over the session to Dr. K. Murali.
My BE students, and then for my MSc students, and also MPhil and PhD students also. Okay. Still I am a student learning many things. Okay. Lot of things are unknown to me also. Okay. Right. So the purpose of this DST Inspire program is to cultivate interest in science among the younger minds, okay, so that you are going to have a chance that in one day you will try to do active research in a premium institution, and also try to contribute your findings to the well-beings of fellow Indians. Okay, so that's the motivation behind this kind of Inspire programs. Okay, to be honest, this is the first talk I am giving in this type of gathering. Okay, this is the first time I am giving a kind of Inspire talk. Okay, and it's kind of a privilege for me extended by Dr. Meenakshi Sundaram and Dr. Venkatesan and the principal of this college. Thank you very much for your invitation. Okay, right. Moved to different parts of the world for my higher education, and then I got a faculty position. My field of specialization is nonlinear electronics. Okay, in general. In particular, the concept of nonlinear dynamics, okay, where Dr. Venkatesan is also one of the foremost experts in that particular field, and also one of my students, Dr. Srinivasan, also an expert in this nonlinear electronics field. Okay, right. Right. So apparently, to be honest, I am not going to have any particular plan for this talk. That's why I put a question mark. Okay, right. And also try to make sure that you need not wait until I finish my lecture and try to ask questions. So you try to ask questions internet and watch movies. Okay, and try to communicate with other fellows using video calls or audio calls, all sorts of things. Okay, right. And all right. So the most important thing is that why science? So this is interacting with our environment. Most importantly, we have to ask questions and try to seek answers, and those answers lie at the heart of knowing and doing science. Okay, and always science surrounds us. It is everywhere in our daily lives, all day, every day, until our final breathing. Okay, even after we stopped our breathing also, still science lives. Okay, so that's the kind of concept. Okay, so now I will try to give some of the kind of interesting work which we are doing presently, and what the kind of work which I did for my PhD days and other thing. And so this involves the fascinating concept called chaos. Okay, So chaos is nothing but a kind of irregular arrangement or irregular movement of a system. Okay. So always we are having a chaotic life. We don't know what will happen the next moment. Still there are certain uncertainties are there. Experiment. Okay. I do hope many of you are familiar with this simple pendulum. The kind of wall clock where it is simply try to oscillate. Okay. Suppose if I have a kind of pendulum, so which is being fixed at the middle. Okay. In a three-dimensional motion, it will try to make some kind of oscillations like this. Okay. You can also see this the same kind of thing. Mainly the masons are using during that construction projects, and I think the mason will use this kind of thing. Okay. So now, what is the kind of behavior you are seeing here? It exhibits some kind of periodic oscillations. Okay, and it is going to have a particular frequency of oscillations. Okay, whether it is a kind of two-dimensional motion or a kind of three-dimensional motion, it exhibits simply a periodic oscillations. Okay, it's a kind of sine wave, like that, right? So now, what will happen if I simply try to replace a metal rod which is going to oscillate with respect to this support? This is a simple pendulum. Followed by that simple pendulum, if I attach one more rod, the motion of the pendulum is completely non-periodic, and this non-periodic oscillations is called chaotic oscillations. Not due to any external noise. I do hope you are familiar with the concept of noise. So noise is something a kind of irregular movement. Okay, without giving any external noisy signal, just the oscillation of a double pendulum will give you this kind of chaotic oscillations. Okay, the beauty of this chaotic oscillations is that, or this particular system is that, suppose if I see the position of the pendulum which I am putting, I am just leaving it. Okay, it makes this kind of oscillations, right? So, aperiodic or random type oscillations being exhibited by certain deterministic nonlinear dynamical systems is called chaos. Deterministic means that I know what is the material of that rod, what is the length of the rod. Okay, those two rods. Enormous change in the future course of action. Okay, and then it involves this total unpredictability. I cannot predict the future behavior. Just by looking at that double pendulum oscillation itself, one of the nonlinear dynamical system, I know that I cannot be able to predict what is the kind of next position the double pendulum is going to have. Okay, and also quite often it involves some kind of feedback mechanism. And another property of the chaos is the so-called fractals nature. Okay, so fractals means that we are going to consider different types of objects whose dimension is going to have non-integer values. For example, if you take a pen, what is the dimension of this one? It's a three-dimensional one. Okay. Suppose, let us assume that I am simply going to take a piece of paper like this. It's a two-dimensional one. If I fold it like this, making a cylinder, it's a three-dimensional one. Okay, so I know that we are having a kind of objects having integer dimensions. 0, 1, 2, 3, something like that. But I'm going to show some of the pictures. So the purpose of having this kind of synchronized formation or the so-called emergent behavior or the so-called spontaneous synchrony, okay, and the individual element of this kind of picture are small birds. They are very vulnerable to the predators, but they will try to join together. They will try to confuse the predator, for example eagle or something other bigger birds. They will try to evade. Okay, so in order to avoid that kind of situation, they will try to form some kind of synchrony, so that it will try to look like a kind of very big object to the predator. Okay, the same kind of object will occur in schooling of fish. Okay, so they will try to have some kind of pool like that. So here also they will have this kind of structure. They will try to move in. Have you seen this kind of physical objects in your lab? It's called metronome. The purpose of the metronome is to try to have some kind of clocked movement, where we can adjust the frequency of movement also. Okay. Suppose if I have another metronome, is it possible to bring unintelligent? They can able to communicate and they will try to get a kind of synchrony. Okay, now you can able to see that. Okay, right. So what is that use now? A particular frequency. Okay, and that frequency of oscillation entirely be determined only by the length of the string. Okay, by connecting that string, not by the mass of that object sitting on that thing. Okay, and here what happens is that again you can resemble that kind of swing in terms of a mass attached to a spring, and you will try to the same kind of thing. Okay, so here what happens is that if I give a proper push, I can attain a kind of particular frequency where the amplitude is going to reach
an elephant, a paper. I think you will remember Dr. Murali and physics. Am I right? To put it in physical terms, you can address your chaos to Murali sir and he will bring you to order.
இல்ல அதுல வந்து ஸ்ப்ரிங்கோட லெங்த், ஸ்ப்ரிங்கோட டயாமீட்டர் சேமா டிஃபரண்டா?
சேம் சார்.
சேம். இப்போ வந்து ஆக்சுவலா நமக்கு ஒரு ஸ்ப்ரிங் இருக்கு, மாஸ் அட்டாச் பண்ணிருக்கோம், புல் பண்றோம், அது வந்து பேக் அண்ட் ஃபோர்த் ஆசிலேஷன்ஸ் வருது, ஒரு பர்టిక్యులர் ஃப்ரீக்வென்சி ஆஃப் ஆசிலேஷன். ஓகேயா? இப்போ நவ அந்த ஸ்ப்ரிங் வந்து லெங்த் வந்து ட்வைஸ் பண்றோம். அதான் ஒரு ஸ்ப்ரிங், அதுக்கு கீழ இன்னொரு ஸ்ப்ரிங். ஓகேயா? இப்போ
இப்படி ஹேங் பண்ணிருக்கேன்.
இப்படி தான் பண்ணிருக்கேன்.
எஸ் சார்.
ஆமா. ஓகே, ஸ்ப்ரிங் வந்து சீரிஸா கனெக்ட் பண்ணிருக்கு.
ஓகே சார்.
சீரிஸா கனெக்ட் பண்ணிருக்கா? ஓகே சார். அப்பனா லெங்த் இன்கிரீஸ் ஆயிருக்குன்னு அர்த்தம். எஸ் சார். லெங்த் இன்கிரீஸ் ஆச்சுன்னா ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கலா frequency சேஞ்ச் ஆகும்.
எஸ் சார்.
Suppose if you take a spring and also try to have another spring parallelly, where you put the support on the top, hang a mass here, then what will happen?
That vibrates. The surface tension மேல போகுது சார்.
Surface tension
சார், அந்த surface tension அந்த ரெண்டு ஸ்ப்ரிங் வைப்ரேட் ஆகுது சார்.
ஆமா.
அப்ப அது கீழ போயிட்டு திரும்பி மேல போகும்போது ரெண்டுக்கும் டென்ஷன் டிஃபரண்டா இருக்கு, பட் டிஸ்பிளேஸ்மென்ட் ஒரே மாதிரி இருக்கு.
அதுக்கு பேர் ஸ்ப்ரிங் கான்ஸ்டன்ட்.
ஓகே சார்.
அந்த ஸ்ப்ரிங் கான்ஸ்டன்ட் வந்து டிபெண்ட்ஸ் அப்பான் தி மெட்டீரியல். ஓகேயா? அதுக்காக தான் கேட்டேன். சேம் டயாமீட்டர், சேம் லெங்த், if they are at a different material, then automatically frequency is going to change. ஓகேயா? இங்க ஸ்டார்ட் ஆகும் இந்த ஃபிக்ஸ்ட் எண்ட்ல 1% ல இருந்து அந்த ஸ்ட்ரிங் வந்து இப்படி மூவ் ஆகி இப்படி வந்துரும். It's like a kind of like a parabola kind of thing. ஓகேயா? is going to have a particular wavelength. Okay? Suppose in the frequency மாற்றும் பொழுது you are going to have different wavelength. Okay? The same kind of principle. அது அங்க வந்து wave form பண்றதுக்கு பேரு தான் standing wave pattern. Okay? இப்போ you are asking, you are emitting a sound, that sound frequency, for example, you try to take a swing. The swing frequency will be fixed by the length. Frequency is equal to 1 by 2 pi to root L by G. The length will fix as the natural frequency of that swing. Okay? When you try to give the, so now the external signal's frequency should match with the natural frequency of the system. Then only you will get the resonance. Okay? So only the thing is that external frequency தெரிஞ்சிருக்கணும், natural frequency of the system தெரிஞ்சிருக்கணும். You are going to have the kind of medicine. Okay? And another application is to understand the stock market, economics. Economics, when the market rate is fluctuating over the years, people are trying to find some kind of pattern in that thing. Okay, they want to predict that economy. And another thing is that the concept of fractals. Okay, nowadays mainly being used for image processing. Okay, image processing la வந்து எப்படினாக்கா, for example, if you take a photograph in a digital camera, for example, it is going to occupy some kind of for example 1 GB memory இருக்குன்னு எடுத்துக்கோமே. So now fractals are having a peculiar property that kind of electrical circuits, the integrated circuit level, they want to try to have a kind of structure within structure. Always if you try to visualize the microprocessor inside the computer chips, they are having different layers of structures. Okay? And the different layers of structures that now they are trying to model that one in terms of fractal. Because the sound rays which is propagating from my end to you, it is a single direction. If you try to reach your hair, again it got reflected back. But during that reflection back, the intensity got reduced. That's why I am not hearing that echo.
With which we can fight our weaknesses. We have amongst us today Dr. A. Thamarai Chelvan, Principal and Head Department of Chemistry, Tyagarajar College, Madurai. His areas of expertise include inorganic, organic, physical chemistry, computer applications in chemistry, computational chemistry, and crystallography. He has carried out collaborative researches with Secretary Karaikudi, Thank you, sir. Now I hand over the session to Dr. A. Thamarai Chelvan.
Whatever you see now is not the ultimate fact. What appears to be a fact today may not be a real fact tomorrow. Some of you may disprove the principles that exist today. So, science, you can say, embodies the principles which take you towards finding the truth. Then there is a parallelism between this particular science, in Tamil we say Vijnanam. There is another thing called the spiritualism, called Vijnanam. The aim of that also is finding the truth. They are also moving towards truth. Scientists also are moving towards truth. The meeting point is going to be the one. But what's the difference? Something like you worship different gods, but the ultimate is one. So science has different branches through which you move towards the fact. But let us have a small example. I have lost my keychain. Okay, somewhere I put it in the morning in a hurry. I am just going here and there in search of this. This is a search. Now, in a hurry, in Tamil there is a say, without the basis, like a building, unless you have a very strong foundation, the building cannot be there ever as a stable structure. Therefore, in order to have an efficient system of engineering or medicine or whatever you call it, you need to have basic science very strong. And at a time when people are going towards these things, you discover new things quite accidentally when you don't look for that, and which is useful to you, which helps you to develop science, to take science to the next level, and that is called serendipity. I hope I have made this concept very simple. So I am going to talk about serendipity. I have given lectures for this, suppose some 50 or 60 times, only in colleges. This is the first time I am talking about this topic to students like you. Otherwise, I used to talk about chemical mathematics and things like that, which are the recent origin. So, serendipity and science is my topic. Next slide, please. There. You need not take any notes because I am going to leave this with you. Of course, my student Vinay will give you all the details. Okay? It is there in the system. You can copy later on, or you can get anything. Okay? So let us try to listen. So the effect by which one accidentally discovers something, some of the discoveries which are useful for what? Bharat Ratna. So he was equivalent of that C.N.R. Rao in those days, and he was given the task of testing. You have to find out whether the crown made is having the same quantity of gold, not quantity of gold, quality of, because quantity they will give the same weight. But his task was to find out the method. Now what method you will suggest as a scientist? You know, Frizzy? Can you give me any method of finding whether the gold